Welcome
to Munda Makeover.
We have traveled all over Zambia to find hard-working farmers.
We want to share their success stories.
And where there are challenges, we will bring experts to help them gain the extra knowledge they need.
So they can adapt and make their farms more productive even while the climate changes.
We want to support them to get better yields.
And increase their income.
We will see how farmers from across the country can benefit from our experts' advice.
While also learning from each other in so many ways.
Join us on these journeys and share in the farmers' experiences as they improve their farms.
On
Munda Makeover!
Hey, Cozy.
Yeah, Kachanana. How's the going?
The going is good. In fact, it's better than good. It's multi-good.
Aha. So just like the farmers we're about to visit?
Yes, they are multi-talented.
If they're that good, do you think there's anything we could do to help them?
Well, nobody is perfect, you know.
Oh. What? Me? Surely you don't mean me?
Of course, you're perfect. Multi-perfect.
Are you teasing me?
Last Sunday is a rotten potato.
Cozy won't catch me. This week we're in Chibombo in Central Province and we're visiting Anastacia Lubilo.
Anastasia is married to Mickson Simango. They have 3 children.
Their farm covers 5 hectares.
Main crops are maize, tomatoes,
and green peppers. They also have 20 cows,
33 pigs, and over 100 chickens. Hello!
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
What challenges have you faced on your farm?
How to reach our maximum expectation in the garden.
We saw other people rearing pigs.
Right.
We also joined, but what people are saying and the growth rate of our pigs is not working. We are not there.
Actually, mixed farming, as you call it, is something that should actually be good for you because you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, right?
Of course.
But we don't want to see you suffering on the farm. What do you think?
Absolutely. We have heard your challenges, but the good news is we have some experts.
If you allow us, we'll go for a little while and we'll be back with the experts to make sure you can improve your produce.
All right.
Bye.
Cozy, do you think Anastasia is pleased we've come to her farm?
When I heard that I was among the chosen ones, I tell you, I wish you were there because I jumped, I danced, I enjoyed myself, and I was very, very much awaiting for that day.
Farmers have to deal with so many challenges. And now climate change is bringing even more challenges. But there are solutions, and some of them make being a farmer even better than it was before.
So, meet Spiwe Haninga from Better World Innovations. She's going to tell us how good farming practices can not only help reduce the effects of climate change, they can be more profitable as well.
Can you tell us about the crops that you have on the land right now?
At the field, we grow maize, sunflower. There are some pieces of land which we are not working on because of some pests and I may say maybe we failed to manage the soil so that it could do well for us.
Anastasia, agriculture is a business. And when you're doing a business, you go with a business plan. Good agronomical practices are vital for a farmer. So these are principles that a farmer has to live to get a good yield and get good money. At the end of the day, it's the money.
We grew tomatoes and we had invested a lot of money into that project. So out of 200 boxes we expected, we only harvested 38 boxes. Tuta had eaten the whole field.
Some of other good agronomical practices that farmers forget to practice on their farms. So scouting is one of them. As a farmer, try by all means to at least once in a week scout your field and see the progress. Look out for any diseases, any pest attacks. Before a disease, before a pest is spread to an entire field, you are able to do a control measure in good time.
This scouting came after my crop was destroyed.
See?
That's when they advised me, when they came to check on the field, they asked me this question. I said, I don't know what you are talking about. That's when they explaining, as you are explaining, say you should go and check in your field closely to see what pests are in your garden.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, my crop was already destroyed.
Okay, so
I've gotten a point you have mentioned again.
Okay, so scouting is very vital for every crop. Those pests actually, they hibernate in the soils. They're waiting for a crop that they can feed on. So if you're going to do crop rotation, you plant something that they can't survive on, they are going to just die off, and you'd have gotten rid of them naturally without spending any monies.
The way you have talked about it, I think there is a need in future to do crop rotation.
Yes.
So now, Spiwe, what can she do about her land which is vacated right now?
There are these crops that we call cover crops. So you just grow them on your field and then just leave them there. I'm sure you've heard of sun hemp.
I have.
Yeah, so most people plant sun hemp on pieces of land that are infested with pests and also that have lost their fertility. And then it's also going to help in curbing the cost of you buying chemicals to control your pests, because those pests can't live on sun hemp. And also you're fixing your nitrogen in your soil.
So Anastasia can plant a cover crop and practice crop rotation to reduce pests. But now, as we approach planting time, what other climate-smart farming practices should farmers follow in order to reduce the impact of climate change?
Land preparation, where you're going to do minimum tillage. You've only disturbed a certain portion of your land, and then as a result, there's high water retention. If the rain goes, let's say, for 2 weeks, that hole is able to keep water for some time, that your crops can live on to the next rainfall.
Now, most of our fields are covered with star grass. You try to reap, the grass will grow faster than the crop.
You've harvested your previous season's maize. You leave everything, the residue, just leave it in the field. Because when you leave it, it's like you're mulching, and it's hard for grass to grow when there's that maize stalk around, you know that? And then when it's time for you now to plant, just reap in the areas where you want to plant.
Okay.
We shall do that. As I'm still alive, there is room for change.
How early can a person do land preparation?
If we're going to go climate smart, I would advise that you start as early as October. It's also going to give you ample time to choose your seed variety. So one of the other good agronomical practices is the use of climate smart, drought resilient and early maturing seed varieties. That makes you a climate smart farmer.
Thank you, Spiwe.
You're welcome, Kachanana.
So remember, farmers, with good agronomic practices, you could have high water retention, you could reduce costs, and you could have better yields.
Want to increase yields? The answer to that is feeding the soil. Let's find out how. Here to tell us is Richard Chisenga from Yara Fertilizers.
As a farmer, Anastasia, the number one thing that you have to put in your mind is you need to understand the soil conditions. If you understand the health of the soil, it will help you to plan.
Of course.
Now, how do you plan when you don't know the soil? Because you cannot know what type of fertilizers you're going to put there, the quantities that you're going to put there, right? The soils, I consider them as a bank for a farmer.
Right.
So this bank has to be treated with the utmost care.
Of course.
And love.
Yeah.
So in the soil, that's where you put your money.
Yes. Definitely.
So you have to keep the money where it is safe. So you understand the soils. Because in the soils, there are natural nutrients that exist there. You know to say there's enough, maybe nitrogen. For argument's sake, there's also phosphorus or potassium. And then you look at the crop that you want to put there. You know to say my crop needs so much of nitrogen.
Of course.
So it will help you how much nitrogen you're going to put in the field. It's not just to say, oh, we're going to put 10 bags, you're going to put 5 bags. No. You are going to waste your fertilizers, or you're going to underfeed your crop. There's also what we call the pH. When the pH is high, even if you put so much fertilizers in there, the fertilizers and the nutrients won't be made available for the crop.
Right.
So you need to understand, how is my soil pH?
You have said I need to understand my soil. And I've never seen someone testing the soil in this area.
Right.
I don't know it.
You don't know it.
And now you are talking about the pH. How can you advise me on this one?
Okay, at our office we have a department that deals with the soil testing.
Okay.
So with that, it's not a problem. We can easily bring them here. They do the soil sampling and take the soil samples to the laboratory. Those results, they will help you to plan how much fertilizers you're going to use and how much you will spend on your crop.
Make sense? Let's break it down. Are you wasting money on fertilizers? Do a soil test to find out what fertilizers to use. You might be adding too much or too little. This is how it's done. In a 1 hectare field, gather 10 samples in a zigzag pattern from across the field. Mix them together, then remove a small amount and take it to an agrovet stocking Yara fertilizers. Within 2 to 4 weeks, you will get the results. Depending on the crop you are planting, you will be guided on what fertilizer is needed, how much to use, and most important, when it should be applied.
Because that has been a very costly activity for most of the farmers. They apply the fertilizers at the wrong time. Many farmers I've interacted with, they've been saying, oh, the cost of fertilizers is too high.
Right.
That's what we say.
I'll pick out on nitrogen. Many farmers, they don't know when to apply this nitrogen.
Right.
If you're putting your nitrogen, make sure that the fields are wet, then you put there, and then after another 2 weeks, you put another nitrogen. You do what we call a split application.
Right.
Sure.
When it comes to the Yara fertilizers, is there something in particular that is different to how Yara formulates their fertilizer?
When you look at the compound, it's one grain which has all the necessary nutrients in it.
Right, down to the granule.
Yes, you find that in one grain, you'll find the nitrogen there, the potassium there, the phosphorus, the calcium, the boron, everything will be in that grain. So wherever that grain falls, all the elements will be there. So that's the advantage that we have over these other fertilizers.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So remember, farmers, number 1, do your soil test and ensure you know what's in your soil. Number 2, correct usage of fertilizers. The right quantity for the right crop ensures the best harvest.
Previously, I could find some money. What I knew was to buy D and urea so that I become a best farmer. When someone told me to say you are ignorant, I used to get annoyed. But now that I have understood what it means, to be ignorant is not to have knowledge about that particular thing. So I was ignorant about how I can use my fertilizers at the garden.
Going well, Kachanana?
Going good, but there's still more to come. How to keep chickens as a business.
And how to get newborn piglets to market weight in just 3 months. So, no time to waste.
See you later.
Do you want to improve your income from chickens but not sure where to go to for advice? Come, follow me.
Because we've invited Luca Muzumara from Hybrid Poultry Farm to tell us all about how to make money from keeping village chickens.
So, Anastasia wants to have higher yields, especially with village chicken farming.
How long does a village chicken fed very well can reach the market?
Almost a year.
1
For
year
it to
to put on the weight.
About a kilo of meat, yeah.
But we don't need to wait that long. Is there a solution for this problem?
Yeah, that's why nowadays there are these newly improved village chickens. Of course, you're talking 13, 14 weeks.
14 weeks?
Yes.
Okay.
Where can she get such chickens, and what is the maintenance like?
Hybrid stocks are the newly improved village chickens. We've got what is called the red brow breed. Of course, all you need to do is do the brooding and wean them off after 4 weeks. You then rear them or grow them up to the time when you think they are ready to go to the market, between 13 and 14 weeks.
13 and 14 weeks. I think that's an improvement instead of waiting a year, right? Yes. Around what weight do they come out?
Well, you end up with 2.2 to 2.5 kilos by that age. I'm sure Anastasia will be happy to hear that. Because
I am.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to hear about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much is is it a box of the chicks that you sell?
10 kwacha a chick.
How old is that
Day
chick?
old, just like the ones that you've removed from the mother hen to go and do the brooding.
What is the most important thing to remember when caring for these improved village chickens?
It starts from the brooder, the preparation, and when you're receiving the beds to ensure that you create the comfort zone. Then when it comes to vaccination, you stick to the vaccination program so that you ensure that the beds are protected. But then when you're vaccinating, you ensure that the rest of the village chickens on the ground are also given a vaccine at the same time. Because what happens is that if you're giving a vaccine, these are live vaccines. Even the birds that are not vaccinated will be triggered to produce antibodies because they will feel that they're under attack. So going by the ages, if they are grown in batches, it will be easier for you to remember when the last vaccination was done. And spraying is the easiest vaccination that you can do because you just cage the birds into one corner and ensure that the spray is done, and that's it. And they get the protection that is.
Okay, what do you think about 14 weeks to sell your village chickens? Is this a good idea?
To me, it's something that needs to be taken because for one to keep chicken for 1 year and some months so that you come and sell.
It's too much.
It's too much.
And this is a very new and good solution.
And here we are talking about business.
Instead of 1 year going to market, it's reduced to 14 weeks. Instead of selling a chicken at 1 kilo, it's gone up to 2 kilos. I think this all sounds good, right? But let's break it down in the details.
To raise improved chickens like the hybrid village chicken, good hygiene is essential. So, keep them separate from local chickens to avoid passing on diseases. And when vaccinating, spray both the hybrid chickens and the local chickens.
You find that these bigger chickens, when the little chicken wants to eat, it will hammer on the head. But to me, it never came to be a lesson that I should separate them. But with him, he advised to be separating them, to put them according to their sizes.
Is there any support that you give to farmers like her? I mean, she's learning about this for the first time.
Well, hybrid offer complete technical support. Immediately Anastasia comes to make a booking for the newly improved village chicken, she becomes part of the hybrid family, meaning to say all the backup support will be given to her free of charge. Yeah, our technical teams who are all over the field on motorbikes will be able to visit and see and guide where necessary. Our contact details will be given to her and she can always consult and ensure that we work together. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
if
you
you
very
look after your
much.
chicks, your chickens will look after you.
Oh, that's great. As I'm growing old.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Keeping pigs can be a great business as long as they remain healthy. The key to that is keeping them well fed. Let's find out more. And the man to tell us more is Kaweche Piri from Farm Pigs. Anastasia has only been keeping pigs for a few years, but she's gone from 2 to over 30, and she's built this pig house from them as well. But we think it could be better, so under Kaweche's guidance, we're going to make some improvements. The first problem is there's no footbath at the entrance.
Firstly, I would advise that on the entrance,
Of course.
she cuts a bucket
Okay.
and puts in a disinfectant,
Right.
such that all the feeders that come to feed here,
course.
they dip their feet in
Very,
that
very
disinfectant
important.
so that there is no spread of disease. Like this place is very common with swine fever.
Right.
Further, I would also advise that they do their hands with hand sanitizer. If they don't have a hand sanitizer, they can wash their hands with soap. So that
course.
as they feed the pigs, your pigs are safe.
Right. And
One other thing that I've observed on the litter, I've seen, like you can check now, I've seen the sow is lying on the ground, stopping the litter from suckling.
Right.
I see.
So that is an indication of discomfort. It's either one, the sow is not getting enough food, or it's getting wrong food as it's not producing enough milk.
Right.
Now, since it cannot produce enough milk, it's hiding its teeth. Or secondly, you have not teeth clipped the litter, so as the litter is suckling, the sow is feeling pain. And now, because of that discomfort, it's lying on its tummy to try and prevent the litter from giving it extra discomfort.
Right.
As soon as the litter is born, after 7 days, you need to take off the teeth, what we call teeth clipping.
Whenever you want to do something the best way, you need to have knowledge.
Of course.
Ignorance should come out and be replaced by knowledge.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for your advice.
You're welcome.
When it comes to the nutrition of the pigs, what would some of your recommendations be for this particular case where feeding is concerned?
Like any other animal, pigs need a balanced diet. A balanced diet is one that has got the proteins, the carbohydrates,
Of course.
the fats, the minerals, and all the rest.
Right.
So that as they eat, they can meet their body requirements.
Right.
So, as farm feed, we make sure that all the feed that we produce is balanced.
Of course.
We have got feed for all categories of your pigs.
What would happen if we give the animal the wrong feed at its wrong stage in growth?
They will not respond
Of course.
in their growth or in their activities, which will ultimately affect your profit at the end of it. So when feeding the pigs with the right feed will promote fast growth,
Of course.
will promote a lot of good health on the pigs,
Right.
such that they can even reach at the market
Of course.
at the most shortest period of time.
We never knew that.
Okay.
We
saw
were
it.
just taking it to be a pig and
Right.
it should eat whatever other pigs are eating,
I
it should
see.
also eat.
Yeah, sure,
I
sure.
think on that one I've learned a lesson.
All right.
What's the duration of time that it might take with good feeding to get our animals to the right weight for market?
It's supposed to be 60 and 75 kgs.
Right.
And that is the prime weight that you can get very good money from.
Okay, I
Yes.
see. And how long in a feeding cycle would it take to get our animals to the stage where they're at that weight?
Not more than 90 days.
90 days.
90 days.
Oh,
So in the
fantastic.
spec of 3 months, your pigs must be ready.
From winning.
From winning up
To the market.
To the market must take 90 days, 3 months. Yes.
That's great.
One other thing that I need to mention other than feeding is the water. You need to make sure that they've got access to clean water all day and all night.
Right.
Because as they want to drink, they need to drink.
Another point is taken.
Sure.
It needs water all round.
Of course.
And remember, farmers, don't overcrowd your pigs. Fully grown pigs weighing over 110 kilos should each have a minimum of 1.5 square meters of space in the pig house.
I'm very happy to see that you're smiling and you're loving the information. It's
no,
good.
No, I'm passing through my mistakes and they are
Exactly.
making me laugh.
So at the end of the day, with all of this useful information, you'll be laughing all the way to the bank.
It's very nice to hear
Absolutely.
that. Thank you very much, Mr.
You are
Garage.
welcome.
Well, that's it. Our work here is done. The pigs certainly seem happy. Now let's see what our farmers think about our makeover of their pig house.
Cozy,
There you
well
are.
done.
What do you think? Disinfectant there. The animals have been fed with the best quality feed.
I didn't know that it would look like this. Didn't know that they could be a food, but for information, all that was used here was here.
It's material that you have
All the
here.
materials, everything. Marvelous.
Ah,
That's
Nice.
a good word.
good reviews
Yeah.
here.
Very new things. I thought I knew, and yet I didn't.
We're always
short.
learning.
I'm really humbled for you to come for me, a simple small-scale farmer, spending your time at my village. I'll be a changed farmer. I'll be a better farmer.
The sun is setting. It's time to go, Cozy.
We're excited about what will be happening here, but a bit sad to leave.
We might be leaving you, but not you. We'll see you next week.
On another episode of
Munda Makeover!